Welcome to the Legged Sportcast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neal.
First off, massive thanks again. Monterex, 15% off. You all know the score by now. 15% off. Type in Legged at checkout, and that's you squared away. Also, again, BetMate. There'll be a link in the description. Get involved with BetMate this weekend. You can basically pick 7 players in various different matches that we're going to have on this weekend. It's just a couple of pounds. You get involved with all your mates, get your mates playing. They do a live leaderboard, and it's a fancy football, but basically between your mates. So you don't have to wait like we have with our fancy where it's thrown out for the whole season. This is literally done and dusted over the weekend. It's a good laugh. It's a couple of quid, bit of bragging rights for you and your mates, and you can win decent money as well. The pots are building up week by week. Good few £100 to be won each week. So get involved. The link is in the description. On the gambling note,
We did it.
Got the double in. Hollow Ginge, you said priced it up on Thursday. Yeah. It's not a 20-1 horse. Get on it. It should definitely run better than 21, and it should get a place. I nearly won.
Yeah, mate, I was heartbroken. Should have won. He went off about 9-1, I think, something like that. But yeah,
4 out. I was walking the dog. I had the ITV player on my phone walking the dog, and 4 out. Flew over the last fence. 4 out. I thought, oh my God, it's going to win.
He went like a dream, didn't he? The problem was, when they turned for home with 2 left, the other horses couldn't go with him. So the jockey was sort of stuck in a place where he's like, right, do I hold him back for a bit or do I just keep going? None of the horses could keep up with him. So he was then left out on his own for a bit. And then what happens is he's obviously jumping the fences, but he's getting a bit lonely because horses are pack animals. They run with packs. So he's basically got a line to look at. And the horse that beats him has got him to aim at, you know what I mean? So he's chasing. Yeah. But then obviously he takes over the Hollow Ginge, and then the Hollow Ginge sees him and starts to come back, and I think with another 100 yards he'd have probably got back up and won again. But
it's a great performance.
Yeah, everything we said about, last year was a bit of an anomaly. It was tough. He had a few things up. We had a couple of things where he didn't finish the race, but there he's back now, and I think his rating's gone up. So I think he was 137 that day. He's now 142, so he's about £2-3 outside of a guaranteed Grand National run. So one good. I think obviously we need one more good run. But yeah,
it's exciting, lad. And we also had that come in at about 5-1. I think tipped at the start to get a place 5-1. Yeah. Then I got me footy bet in as well. Boom. It's 2 now on the 2 on the spin.
What did you?
Someone went a bit greedy. Someone messaged me and went, you're unlucky with your 6-fold. Do the 3 homes, the 3 aways, and then roll it up in a 6-fold. Because
even if you put a couple of quid on that 6-fold, you're doing okay.
You're doing alright.
Yeah, and the other 2 pay for it. But yeah, it was 90 plus 7, wasn't it? Wickham, the homes.
Yeah, we got a little bit lucky with it.
I was watching I watch on Flash Score, and when it pops up saying big chance, it's a goal in it usually, and I was like, we've been so unlucky there. And then just seeing the red letters, big chance, I was like, oh my.
Couldn't believe it. We had Exeter was the other one. They were winning and then conceded. But yeah, listen, come in. So happy days. 2 on the spin for the footy.
Love it.
George gets your horse bet in, so we're flying. So yeah, keep betting responsibly, but keep also following the tips.
Yeah, enjoy.
It was a great weekend. So I was with you all weekend on the Sunday. We went to Aintree races. Saw Silver Ginge. Yeah. Just get round the course basically.
Yeah. So basically, obviously, my brother was on, and he is just a big baby. He doesn't really know what he's doing. The race was never there to win. It was just sort of get him round, and hopefully next time he's a bit better than he was. My brother got off, and the great thing about obviously your brother being a jockey is you see that race and he's sort of behind and he's tailed off and stuff, and you think, fuck's sake, But then when you've got a jockey there and he's like, actually no, he was okay going into these hurdles, and he was okay, but then he lost his concentration, and when you lose your concentration, it's just like actual intelligent input, and it's never as bad as it seems on the bare face. I mean, obviously if people back it, they're like, oh my God, but it was good to hear that from my brother, and I think what he goes on to do remains to be seen, but he had to get around the course at one point, so why not now?
Yeah, and it was again just what sport is all about, just a good social.
Yeah, so we obviously went to Aintree and then we got back to town.
Jumped a train at 4:20, got into Moorfields for 25-2, and at that point the Redmen were already 1-0 up.
Yeah, on our way, weren't we?
And then
we were on our way.
Then we were well flying, then walking. I think I hadn't even got my pint and it went 2-0.
Yeah.
And then I got my other footy bet up because we'd done the trebles again on a Sunday. That come in. So Liverpool went 2-0 up, which meant Bet365 paid out. And then just the destruction of Man United began.
Mate, it was fucking outrageous, wasn't it?
I couldn't believe it. There was a point when I think I just looked at my half fella and I was like, oh my God.
I don't know if it was... I watched it back the next day when I was like not under the influence of Vale. I don't know whether they were that bad or we were... Because I don't think we were that good.
Yeah, no, I think
we were just clinical.
I think they were awful. Yeah. Like, they were really bad.
Absolutely nothing.
I was gutted the fact it was 60 minutes gone and, you know, there was half an hour left there. We could have put another couple past them.
I mean, you know, Henderson's pass is an absolute joke for Salah's last goal. But all the goals are good, and, you know, I think we just went there and just... The best thing Liverpool can have for me is that. Don't play that well, but just constantly just doing the job. And
I think what the pundits, the experts have been saying for a while now, that, you know, they are capable, Man United, of like moments of brilliance, but as a team, you know, they're awful.
No, they give up on each other
straight away. That's just shown.
Pogba, come on. Someone in the pub said he'll go him or get sent off, and he went. I mean, I know we had another little, you know, hurrah in the pub because we all backed Fernandes, didn't we, to get a booking?
Yeah.
And he got booked it like that, like a minute the second half.
Yeah, James Milner, fuck me, $4,500. Yeah. I needed him to get booked.
But yeah, but we had like I don't know, they just give up on each other, United. It was just like...
It was comical.
Just went to, you know, an absolute team of individuals.
So it was, listen, great for the Reds, absolutely flying. It was my bare anxiety the next day was not good after I had my leg off, passing. Went round the bar, poured about 5 pints into my prosthetic leg.
Did we pay for them pints?
Yeah, I paid. I just paid for 5 pints and just poured it all in my leg, and then the leg then got handed around the pub while strangers drank out of my leg.
That was me, that.
I know. You were going round, anyone want some? I was like, give me fucking leg back.
Yeah, but honest to God.
You need, listen, the leg comes off on special occasions, and beating Man United 5-0 was a special occasion.
Do you know what, though, that day we had, obviously there was a good group of us. I don't know if I've ever had a better day on nails than that. It all started so civilised. We were just in Aintree, and we were outside in Aintree for a bit, had one, and then we went into the owners and trainers bit, which we took over. Everyone else was having a nice little...
My dad come back from the bog and was like, and we were like the other side of the room, and my dad went, all you can hear is this table laughing. It was brilliant.
Yeah, we were, you know, putting out jokes and that, and... But
that's what when I say love sport, I love the coming together like that of people, live sport, you know, it's good crack. It's brilliant.
Yeah, but then, as you say, BFE was real.
I had the anxiety the next day when I woke up.
I had a 3-round boxing fight outside the thing, like on pads with fun of me.
Fucking no.
But I got in anyway, and me and Mrs. give it the old, you were a bit drunk last night, weren't you? Said a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're alive.
Brilliant. What wasn't so great was Everton. Don't want to kind of compound any Blues misery, but no, that was
capitulation. I think the word is, isn't it?
That was so bad.
I mean,
5 at home against Watford.
I think sometimes stars align in terms of Josh King's thing. You know, it was just his day, wasn't it? Everything he touched scored. But you know, we talk about Everton capitulating, Man United capitulating. Everton did the exact same thing, and you know, as I said, I thought that was one where Everton go and win, and then they go put a little run together, but. You know, that combined with, you know, Calvert-Lewin being out, Decore being out, it's just...
Well, I said on the podcast they need to kind of win these next 2 games because they've got a run of 5 games which are really, really tough. The fact that they're conceding 5 against Watford and then they're going to go into not the next game but the ones after, it's 5 really tough games.
Yeah. I wouldn't have liked to have been the players this week. Like, I reckon Rafa's give them a good old, you know, boring running week of just do nothing but run, but... Yeah, it wasn't good to see, and I think Everton fans, as much as like Liverpool fans will take the piss or whatever, all they want is commitment, really, isn't it? They just want a team that are committed to the shirt and success along the way. Obviously, like every fan does, but I don't think any Everton fan. I think Tim Cahill summed it up. You can accept getting beat. Everton fans have been beat before. It's like Liverpool fans have been beat before. What you can't accept is just putting your hand in, and you know what I mean, and being like, well. You know, it's 3-2 we've lost, and then just letting them score because Watford are garbage, bad side, and Everton are a better side than Watford.
You just hope Everton fans will anyway that it was just a freak result.
Yeah, it happens to them. It happened to us. 7-2.
Yeah.
It does happen, but now it's either everything's shit, turn on Rafa, the team's garbage, blah blah blah, or it's like regroup. It was a one-off. We're not a bad side. You know, we've got injuries, we're not crap. Let's just crack on, and I think it goes one or two ways. I think United's the same thing. United, they will either get beef for until Ollie gets sacked now, or they'll try and come together.
Do you think he'll go?
Yeah, I think he'll become inevitable. I don't think many of the players want him. So the thing is, you can get away with it at certain levels, but say if they turn up to Tottenham this weekend and they're not all quite at 100% because they're not committed, you will get beat. Tottenham aren't great, but you will get beat at that level.
I thought it was quite harsh on Ollie, the fact that they brought Ferguson back in. What's Ferguson doing?
He's got a bad smell and he just doesn't go away.
What's he doing though? Like, what's he gonna say or do?
I don't mind. Like, I've got no time for all these like ambassador roles and all that stuff. I've got no problem with people like thinking he's a legend because he's a football legend, not just a United legend. But imagine starting a job and the former boss just stood over you just constantly. It's impossible. And I've seen stuff where, like, he won't park, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won't park in the manager spot at United and stuff because it's like for Alex Ferguson.
How can the players respect him his role when he kind of doesn't respect himself? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
He's not the. Do you know who summed this thing up the best? Conor McGregor, did you see it?
Who
said what United needs a man in charge, not a peer. Like when Ronaldo was in his pomp at United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was his peer. Do you know what I mean? There's no. It's like a colleague leading the rest of it. It's not a person in charge.
Someone at the helm, is it?
Do you know what I mean? I know Klopp has this stuff at Liverpool where like he's hugging everyone but he's in charge. Rafa's in charge at Everton. Do you know what I mean? All the good teams, it's been a manager in charge of the team.
It's a great point. I seen Ronaldo said he didn't want to do a sing song. Yeah. And
what the fuck's all that about?
Well, he's turned around and said, I'm not going to do my initiation song. I'm just going to do a little talk instead. So we gave them all a little motivational pep talk. I'm sorry, but I don't care who you are. Yeah. If you're in this team, you make a bit of a idiot of yourself and you sing a song.
But that, as you said rightly, it's on the manager though. Say, no, you are doing it.
Ollie should have said you're doing a song.
If he doesn't do that...
Give me American Pie now.
Yeah. Give me... Yeah. But when the players walk away that night and they go back to the rooms and that, 100% to get said, what's all that about? Do you know what I mean? And he sings.
Listen, no one's debating he's one of the best in the world ever. But if there's an initiation song to be sung, make a show yourself, sing it. Don't just give us a little motivational pep talk about you're not here for a holiday and you're not. Fucking hell, lad.
Fucking either way. Do you know what I mean? Give us a break.
Honestly.
But football management's changed, hasn't it, in terms of, Klopp exactly hugs people and everything's like this team and all that stuff. But fundamentally, it goes back to someone saying, you've got to do this for us to win the game. I think at United, the lines are so blurred because, he has Carrick, doesn't he, next to him? Or Fletcher, is it? One of them. Everything's very like players leading players. Do you know what I mean?
I get the feeling with Ronaldo as well. If that goal would have stood, he kind of would have went in the dressing room and been like, listen, fucking done my bit.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem that arsed.
No.
Pogba doesn't seem that arsed.
They just look like... It sums up football, really, because, individually, they've got some amazing players. Ronaldo, Fernandes is a great player, Pogba's a great player on his day. Mason Greenwood's one of the most exciting young players in the league. Rashford the same, Cavani on the bench. They've got great players, but it doesn't matter if you're not all pulling in the same direction or singing from the same hymn sheet. It means absolutely nothing. Liverpool did it for years. Yeah. We had loads of boss players come and go, didn't we? But it doesn't click because the rest of the team aren't on board.
Yeah, it'll be interesting few weeks.
Yeah.
Going on to the keep it on footy for a minute, League Cup. You haven't seen Origi's goal, have you? Oh God, so funny.
Divock with the special.
Divock, man, what a guy. Liverpool, Man City, I think was the big story though going out on pens. First time in 5 years they've lost in that competition.
Have they won it every year since? Fucking hell. But I just assume they always win it.
Yeah. Oh. I'm made up they haven't not gone this year.
I've seen something today. The winner of this cup gets 100 grand or something, and for every group stage game is worth 2.5 million in the Champions League.
Really?
That's the difference in the trophies. Do you know what I mean? You wonder why people disrespect it.
Yeah. So I made up the kids got through anyway. You say kids, I mean Chambers.
When does it change, do you reckon?
I don't think it will.
Do you reckon you play the kids all the way?
Well, you can then, I don't know, get to the final and then fuck them all off, can you?
On the bench, you scored every game.
He scored in every game, I think.
I bet you if you get to the final, you'll play the players though.
I don't know.
Do you reckon he'll get to Wembley and then just, Adrian, a goal?
Bit sly if he doesn't.
I can't see it, mate. You can't get to final, play like Nico Williams and Kirardi under 18s left back, and
Yeah, if they've got you to the final though.
well done, boys. Hard time to get the medal. I'll show you the medal on the bus. Firmino like that, just rocking up with it.
I don't know, it'll be interesting, yeah. The draw's on Saturday. So.
We've never been this far for years, have we, to know?
Not in the
We
League
always get
Cup.
knocked out. But
Yeah,
Curtis Jones, I've seen people raving about him.
Yeah, he had a nice few little moves.
Serious player, him.
Yeah, absolute baller. So yeah, League Cup action, and then this weekend going into, we're in a last man standing, and you've actually went for Tottenham to beat Man United, which I thought was a bit surprising.
Just because of what I said before, I don't think they're all playing for the manager, and
I agree, but
I don't think Tottenham are great, but I think
Tottenham not being great, and also they're going to have to do something now. United, aren't they? They're going to have to fucking show something.
On the other hand, if they don't show nothing, they get a new manager, and it's not the player's fault. Everything was Ollie's fault. Do you know what I mean? We're boss players still. I think they've put their hand in, the players, and I think he'll be gone by. I think they'll change him. They'll get beat, and then they might get beat again, and then he'll be out.
Well, they got Man City after this weekend.
Don't they have
Tottenham and then Man City?
Don't they have Atalanta in the middle?
Maybe, yeah.
So I think if they get beat twice, or they only get a point from 2 games, he'll be gone before the City game, because then they got a free hit at the City game, haven't they? Oh, we didn't win because we had a new manager. Politics.
So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Liverpool are on to Brighton. Everton play Wolves on Monday night.
Dude, that's a tough game, away.
Home, away actually, yeah.
That's a tough game for Everton, that. But, I mean, sometimes a big away win, you know, as we were saying before, kick-starts, doesn't it? It's like, you know what, here we are, we're at this point, big away win. Wolves are, you know, not the best side in the league, obviously, but it's a very tough game.
Yeah, because they've started to find a little bit of form recently, I think Wolves started quite poorly, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough game for Everton, but it's sink or swim time, and if some of them players now, you know, like a lot of them have, you know, started well in the league, the likes of Gray, Townsend, all these players, but now they need to actually go and get a proper result, and, you know, keep Everton's season going. I think they'll get a result, but it's a tough game now.
You've got Burnley, Brentford. I was gutted the Brentford keeper's been injured, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Thought he's been great for them, that Raya.
Few good goalies this year, but that one for Brighton started well, wasn't he? Sanchez, is it? And then he dropped one against City. See when he come out, he started played for the foul.
Yeah.
Dropped one.
Liverpool are on to Brighton. I think it should be 3 points, although Brighton are playing well, aren't they?
Yeah. Do you know what? Brighton against Liverpool, I think we'll win, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as, like, because they do play, don't they? They're not just going to sit and wait. Like, I think we'll win, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as, you know, it looks on paper. Also, mate, just before we end on footy, a couple of things. Barca sacked Koeman. See you later, lad.
I just think that Messi era, it's Barca.
Xavi's in, isn't he? They've said
they're not Barca. Barca haven't gone, but it's like it's not the Barca of when you think Barcelona.
How do you follow it though? He's onto a loser, isn't he? It's like all them players are, because they're not Messi. He's onto a loser because he's not Pep. Everyone is. You know, you just gotta. What they've got to do is just start again. But I think that, you know, they're about to announce Xavi, aren't they? It's like, or they'll have an interim and then Xavi once he gets away from the team in Qatar. But even that, like, I get, you know, he's a legend at the club, so he's going to get time. But you're going to have to be a good manager to turn that round. Do you know what I mean? He was a great player, but you're going to have to be just as good as a manager to turn it around. Like, it seems mad at the minute. The Premier League is so strong. All the big European teams seem to be struggling. Yeah, Juve in a bit. Juventus got beat last night by Sassuolo 2-1. Real Madrid aren't the Real Madrid of old. Barcelona aren't. Even PSG aren't flying. Yeah, Gini Ronaldo can't get a game, can he? What's going on there? He must be gutted, you know. Fucking right he is. He had a lot to give at Liverpool, but not just at Liverpool. He had a lot to give somewhere where he'd have been the main centre mid. You know what I mean? He's a class player, but just gone there. He's a big game player as well. You know, Messi's overshadowed him a little bit. Just, yeah, he's in there. So yeah, all the big European teams seem to be struggling. I reckon Champions League will go to England though this year. Yeah, I think so as well. I think could be a City Liverpool final, I reckon. I don't think my nerves would handle that. Russia? I'm not sure. Yeah, it is Russia. Is it? I think so. Let me see. We've got. Did you remember the poor lad who was killed in the plane crash in Mariano Sala? Yeah. There's all dodgy stuff going on with that, like flight records and stuff like that. And one of the fellas come out today. It's come out and he basically said there was been text found saying like basically this is going to open up a can of worms
some dodgy stuff going on about like the pilot, and then
but wasn't it was all a bit rushed, the plane, wasn't it? And
yeah,
wasn't fit to fly and all this stuff.
Loads of stuff going on about it, so
that's
fucking sad, all that.
I remember, like, obviously it wasn't years and years ago, but I do remember even at the time thinking that just doesn't happen, you know, like something's gone on somewhere.
Yeah,
poor
mad,
fella,
innit?
like.
And the other thing I thought I mentioned, the first openly gay professional footballers come out.
Amazing that it's taken this long, but
it is mad to think it's taken this long.
Mad.
How many, you know, we have gay pride, you know, no LGBT stuff. It kind of seems to be in the news one way or another in everyday life, yet not in football.
And it's mad as well because, like, obviously he's going to come out. I guarantee the first thing like I'd said to him in a changing room is, like, well, in soft lad or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be, oh God, do you know what I mean? Oh, you're really gay? It's like, yeah, well, then, mate, whatever. Like, or someone will skit him or in a light-hearted banter way, and then I guess he'd be sitting there like, hell,
what was I waiting so long for?
But the hope is that with him coming out and being brave and coming out, that, you know, more people do come out, because at the end of the day, nobody cares.
Well, you say nobody cares. Apparently, I think Henderson or someone tweeted saying, you know, well done. And apparently there's loads of people like going, oh, can't believe, like, you're the captain of our club and you're fucking praising this.
Oh yeah, but you know, I reckon if you put it into a mind, so if you filled Anfield and then you matched everyone's Twitter accounts up, it would be a little tiny section of the state. There's always going to be knobheads like that. Like, for example,
I don't think, I agree with what you're saying. I don't think you'll get a whole crowd of, you know, 40,000 people singing homophobic slurs.
Yeah, and that's
someone.
As long as, you know, there'll always be a minority. As long as the majority are like, you're a footballer, as long as you win, we're going to be happy.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone, you know, shouting chants and it's one of them. It's like, I've seen at Liverpool myself, someone said horrible stuff about Man United, like someone said, pipe down, do you know what I mean? I think eventually that's where we'll get to. You know, there'll always be people saying stuff. There's a gay referee in rugby league, and he's had stuff where people have shouted in, and it becomes self-policed in terms of, you know, people with real sense will start to saying, shut them out.
Do you think it will allow other footballers to come out now?
Hope so, because I think the only way you normalise it is, you know, more people just being who they are, because in my opinion it doesn't matter. You know, it has no bearing on a football game. I'm watching football. I'm not watching. It's the same way I don't care who Mo Salah votes for in Egypt in the political running, or, like, do you know what I mean? We talked about the vaccinations. I do not care about people's personal preferences. Are you good right back or not?
That's how it should be, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what we said over and over and over again on here. Football and sport is the way out of all the other rubbish that we have to deal with in our life. So whether you vote Tory, Labour, you're gay, you're straight, you like beans on toast or spaghetti hoops on toast, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Just be yourself and don't score noggy.
Brilliant. I hope more gay people come out than if there are them.
It'd be good when, like, you know, a leading player.
There's got to be in the Prem. There's got to be, you think.
100%.
I don't know what the law of averages are, but
it's like, but you know, when you speak about mental health and stuff, and you say in a room of 50 men, there'll be 10 men struggling, then you'll know nothing about it. In a pool of Premier League players, there's got to be at least a single figure percentage of players who are homosexual.
I always remember talking about, like, you know, those odds when someone says like a 1 in 6 or whatever. Before we went to Afghan, they were like, the chances are 1 in 6 years are gonna fucking get blown up, and you're looking around going, fucking hell.
In a group of 6, that's definitely.
But yeah, you'd like, So anyway, hopefully that you know, gives people the confidence. Fair play to him. Anything else in the football world?
No, I don't think so. I think it's been fairly quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah. So what's going on as well in the boxing then? You said there's a big, not boxing, UFC.
Yeah, so I reckon we boxing first. It should have been Dillian White. Otto Warland, shouldn't it? But Dillian White's pulled out with an injury which has caused a load of
I didn't even see that. What's happened there?
So they were meant to fight this weekend, big heavyweight fight. Dillian White's pulled out with a sore shoulder. But there's a few whispers that, like, you know, he's been told maybe Tyson Fury early in the new year, like, because Fury wants to get back out.
Where have I been under the rock this week or something? What's that? When's Fury come out and said this?
No, he didn't come out, but people have. It's been said. You know, Fury is looking for an opponent in January, February. Like, white out the obvious with the rankings and stuff, and then he pulls out and says, "Oh, my shoulder's gone." And his shoulder's always been heavily strapped anyway. He's fought plenty of times, but not only that, it's left this card. Mate, the card might be the worst Matchroom card I've ever seen.
Really?
It's absolutely awful. I'll run down it. No, I probably won't even run down it, but it's absolutely...
On the Dillian White thing a minute, I want to sound so stupid now, but how long do you need rest? I mean, if he fights it's October?
Yeah, but he's basically saying he can't fight Otto Wilder because his shoulder's gone, but people are saying your shoulder hasn't gone, you're just not letting your shoulder go, so that when that Tyson Fury phone call comes, you're fit, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, Alan Babbage, have you seen him? Yeah, he's fighting Eric Molina, which is just the worst fight. The top of the card is a women's world title fight, Chantal Cameron versus Mary McGee. Chantal Cameron's going to win. But yeah, I mean, when Eddie went to the Zone, did you see that stuff about the Zone pay-per-view that come out? No. So basically, when Eddie went to the Zone, it was all built up as the end of pay-per-view. I'm going to put all these boss cards on. It's going to be free, $7.99 a month, blah, blah, blah. The Zone put out like a research quiz saying, what would you do hypothetically if the Zone had a pay-per-view platform and we charged $29.99 for Joshua vs Usyk 2? And everyone was like, hang on a minute. But then Eddie's come out and said, well, you can't have these fights unless there's a pay-per-view model. But so basically he's saying there'll be one-off fights or 2 a year, 3 a year, which are pay-per-view. But then like the likes of Dillian White, which used to be pay-per-view on Sky, won't be anymore. But people are saying...
So just like the creme de la creme.
But people are saying, well, your selling point for this big move was no more pay-per-view. So what's happened there? But
what is it with people who've got money? They're just this incessant need to get more of it.
The thing with Eddie though, he moved from Sky to the Zone, and it was all, you know, bells and whistles, this is going to be great. The Smith Fowler card was great. Since then, been garbage, been awful. This is bad this weekend. Like, I mean, you know what I'm like, I'll struggle to. And the UFC, which we're going to touch on in a minute, is on at prime time in the UK on BT Sport. Prelims at 5, main card at 7. I'd love to see the viewing figures, because even if you're a boxing fan, you'll do well to sift through that card, very well. But it's terrible. There's nothing on there.
Trying to be devil's advocate for a minute and maybe see it from Eddie's point of view. Not that I want to stick up for him because he sounds like a fucking money grabbing bastard. But surely though, there's only so many good fights that I don't know. What's the pool of boxers like? I mean, could you genuinely put on amazing shows? You know, twice a month. I mean,
yeah, because the fighters are there. The problem with boxing is you have the politics. Eddie, the pool of boxers is there, but Eddie only deals with 30% of them pool of boxers because he can't do them because they have this, you know, broadcasting rights, and he can't do it.
Okay.
So he's only got a certain. But even you go on his website and look at his stable, Matchroom Boxing, and then you see what he's thrown up. What the numbers will be in the O2 Arena this weekend? Holds 22,000, mate. If there's 12 in there, I'll be surprised.
It's mad.
They won't be able to give these away. It's awful. But it's not really getting any better. There's some massive fights in November, like Canelo Plant, you know, Terence Crawford's back, but none of them are landing on the Zone. You know, he's just won the rights to Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos, which is a good fight, but what we were told the Zone was going to be is not really is not really coming to fruition at the moment.
I mean, who won with the Marine as well, fighter?
Which?
Last week, who did we speak about? The Marine, ex-Marine fella, I forgot his name.
Oh, Jamel Herring?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got stopped, but it wasn't he didn't get knocked out, dropped or stopped. He was just getting beaten, the ref just said no more.
Really, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Shakur Stevenson was amazing. He's, like what we said last week, if he's not amazing, then he'll get beat, but if he is, he's a special talent. And what was good is I hated what he'd done in the build-up, but then he was straight over and he was like apologising to Jamel's wife, apologising to him. But I just hope he learns that he doesn't have to do that, you know what I mean? I think Jamel Herring was saying to him, like, don't have to do it. You're that good. You don't have to be a bad. You don't have to sell this, do you know what I mean? People are going to watch you that good. So hopefully it's one of them where, you know, he's won the belt, but he's also learned a big lesson that he doesn't have to be a gobshite for the rest of his life. But let's hope.
Let's hope.
But like, now some positivity, the UFC card. We're going for 2 back-to-back pay-per-view weeks. So we've got this week in Abu Dhabi. Next week is in New York. But this week's card, mate, oof.
Talk to me, come on.
So it starts at 5, BT Sport, which is the prelim card, which is really good. It features a British lad called Lerone Murphy, who for me might be the most exciting fighter coming out of the UK. He's called the Miracle Man, but he's got a crazy story. He's from Manchester. Was shot in the face as a kid. Not as a kid, as like a young man. Mad story that he spat the bullets out and stuff. But anyway, yeah.
What?
Yeah. So like he got shot in the face and he actually like was like spitting the bullets out.
Wow.
But yeah, so basically he got shot in the face, was caught up in all this gang stuff. Eventually found MMA. Put together a decent run. Got signed to the UFC. Get on this, right? He got signed to the UFC, I think, maybe 18 months ago now. He's had 4 fights in the UFC. They've all been in Abu Dhabi.
Really, yeah?
So he got signed, got put in at late notice against the guy who's also on this card. Tukhugov, something like that. Got a draw but won. Then has won 2 on the bounce. A decision and a stoppage. And now obviously he's in his 4th fight against Mahwan Amirkhani, who is a good fighter in his own right. He's actually fought a few British people as well. But yeah, Lerone Murphy, he's the fighter I'm most excited about in coming out of Britain.
Which is saying something, to be fair.
He's got some serious talent, yeah. But he's got the story, he's got the style. Do you know what I mean? He's just, and I think the UFC do rate him as well. I mean, they're putting him out quite quickly. He's not a massive talker, but he's got a great story. So, but he's got a tough fight here. Amirkhani's solid on the ground. His game plan will be literally ragdoll Lerone Murphy, get him on the ground, and that because that's where he wins. But Lerone Murphy's obviously got to keep it standing and take his head off. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that. But the whole prelim card starts at 5, so just straight after the footy. Just
yeah, I'll be getting in from the match and then straight banging after straight off.
But mate, honest to God, having UFC cards at this time is just.
Is that because it's in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, but they're like contractually now having to give European broadcasters favourable times and stuff. So next week will be in New York, so it'll be a late one. But mate, if anyone is with me and has been following the UFC and MMA for a while, we have not had many of these. It used to be like 3 a.m. no matter what. But we've had a couple now. I think last week as well was a much smaller card, but it was on UK prime time. This one to be a few more, I hope, for the end of the year.
What I like as well, when I was a kind of fair weather UFC fan, it's it used to just be like the Conor McGregor, and I'd get invested in like the weeks leading up to him and stuff, whereas now it just seems to be like it's kind of not post McGregor, but it is a little bit like he's not the main thing anymore, is he?
No, mate, this main card is as good as it gets. So from there's 6 fights on the main card, just all got stories in, all just unreal. The opening one, mate, Magomed Ankalaev against Ozdemir. Ankalaev is a beast, like an actual fucking beast, like, and I think he's just a proper knockout artist, but he can win, decisions, submissions, whatever you need. But I think in light heavyweight division, he's someone to keep an eye on, definitely. I think he's my bet, actually. He's evens to get the TKO or the submission, like to finish it in the distance. Just keep an eye out for him, but he's going to start the main card, and I think if it gets better from him onwards, we're on for an absolute treat. And then, I don't know if you heard of Khamzat Chimaev. So he was based in Sweden. I don't know if he's Russian or something, but he's like obviously from the Khabib sort of way of. But he popped up in when they did Fight Island last year, and he won a fight, and then he was like, I'm not going home, I want to fight again.
I think you mentioned him actually. So
like 10 days later he was back in, and he was smoking people, like battering people, and everyone was like, this is fucking second coming. This fella's ridiculous. Anyway, he gets booked for a fight Leon Edwards, so they're like taking him from fighting nobodies straight into Leon Edwards. I think Edwards gets COVID, gets rebooked, he gets COVID, and then we haven't seen him since, mate. But his bout of COVID was that bad. He was in hospital. He was linked up to like machines and stuff. At one point, they were talking about retiring completely, like saying he was like he'd been that badly affected by it that I think he's 26, I think maybe. But like they were saying, he's that badly affected that if he ever gets back in the octagon again, it'll be a fucking miracle. He'd lost all his weight and stuff like that. So obviously in true UFC style, he's come back and they've matched him with the 11th ranked welterweight in the world.
Fucking hell.
Li Jiang, who's obviously from Asia. He's called the Leech. That's his nickname. Just mate, wait till you see this fella's head. Just got a head like a fucking boulder. With a massive square head. Like, obviously not blessed with the beauty brush, but it'd be like, you know what I mean? You can see he's had some rough old times in the gym. But it's got serious power. You know,
what's going to happen there then?
Mate.
How can you call that, given the layoff he's had with COVID and stuff?
Can't, but he's like 1-3 or something, Chimaev. But to watch him, you when you see him pop up in Fight Island, you know, there's something special about him, that 100%. He was actually mentioning Paddy this week, which is mental. The reach of Paddy Pimblett is crazy. But yeah, but what's happened to him? Like, do you know what I mean? How badly has it affected him? Like,
that's proper interesting, though.
And you know, Jing Liang is not gonna go anywhere. A lot of people get in with Chimaev, or did after his first couple of fights, and they were like, oh, this is Khabib 2.0, and they were beat anyway. But this fella will go in and just go, let's have it. He's coming off the back of his best knockout of his career as well. He knocked out Ponzinibbio, like one punch out knockout. So basically they've said to him, here's Chimaev, and he's gone, yeah, no problem. But this is the first time Chimaev's fought someone ranked.
1-3 seems a bit...
Yeah, no one knows what's going to happen.
That's what I mean.
I mean, if he comes in and starches this guy, then, you know, we might be looking at Khabib 9.0, never mind 2.0, but, like, he's just... It's so interesting, like, what's going to happen. Just a crazy fight in the welterweight division. And then another one of Khabib's fighters, Islam Makhachev's fighting Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's everyone's favourite fighter at the moment. Did I tell you about him? Yeah, so he fought in Vegas, and then he was like, he had to go in quarantine. He was like, I'm staying. So anyway, Makhachev was booked to fight Rafael dos Anjos, and he fell off. Dan Hooker was like, I'm here, no problem. But Makhachev is what is the fighter many people believe is the best lightweight in the world. Champion in waiting. No one wants to fight him, basically, is the theory or the narrative. And Dan Hooker's just like, yeah, no problem, get me on it, I'll fight him. But Makhachev is not ranked either. Oh no, he is ranked, but he's ranked, but I don't think he's ever fought anyone in the rankings. He's just been ranked on the basis that he's fucking legit, you know what I mean? But yeah, Dan Hooker, just one of them fighters who just does not care. And he's, again, coming off the back of another great performance. But yeah, Makhachev, he'll have Khabib in his corner. Khabib's never lost as a coach so far. But
is he not, no?
He's never lost as a fighter and then not as a coach either. But just that Dagestani school of lunatics, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Makhachev...
Even the country name, Dagestan, just sounds like a hardened place.
He just landed there, he's like, fuck this. any boozers around here?
Staying in the Dagestani inn.
Yeah, but yeah, Makhachev, Hooker, which I think personally will be fight of the night. Because Hooker's not going anywhere. Makhachev needs to prove he is what people say he is against someone who's legit, you know what I mean? So, you know, I wouldn't rule Dan Hooker out completely. Getting decent odds, but I think if you put it, this might be the biggest case of all time, what I'm about to say, but I think if you put all the favourites in the 6-fight main card in the accumulator, you got no chance. There'll be a couple of upsets here.
Really?
Betting upsets, do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's a great fight. And the co-main event is Peter Yan versus Corey Sandhagen at bantamweight, which is a fucking crazy, mate, such a good fight. It's hard because, like, you know, as a hard, you're like, this is the best fight ever, but like, people on the street won't even know, do you know what I mean? It's that good of a fight. But Peter Yan was the bantamweight champion, fought Aljamain Sterling, who was the #1 contender, was beating him up pretty convincingly, and I think it's the last round or the fourth, he's got him on the floor, and Aljamain Sterling's head's down, he holds his head and just basically just knees him. Got hold of his head and basically just knees him, gets disqualified, and Aljamain Sterling becomes the champion by disqualification. Then there was this big fallout that, like,
why can't you knee them in someone in the head? That's what you can.
Not why they're grounded. Right. So you can where they stood up, but he had both knees on the floor, and Peter Yan basically grabbed his head and just kneed him clean, square on the nose. Got disqualified. But then Aljamain Sterling was out of it in the ring, like standing up, falling over, saying he can't see, all this stuff. Peter Yan was saying, you're faking, basically, I hit you, but it wasn't that hard. You're a black artist, basically. Which is a bit harsh, like.
After he's just kneed you in the face.
Yeah, so then this rematch got booked between them two. And then I think Aljamain Sterling had neck surgery, so he was like, I can't fight. Again, story of this card, Corey Sandhagen, no problem, I'll fight. So Corey Sandhagen's, again, highly ranked bantamweight, but dead stylish. He's got a couple of like flying knee KOs, a couple of like spinning back fists, you know, proper flashy fighter, but really good everywhere. So Peter Yan, who's many people think is the best bantamweight in the world, against Corey Sandhagen, who, you know, won't back down from no one, take it again, take it straight to him. He's got all the marks for just another crazy fight. Like, honest to God, I can't tell you how excited I am for this card. I'm not going anywhere on Saturday. I'm not even drinking. I'm just going to sit and watch it so I don't miss anything. And then the main event, obviously the light heavyweight champion against Glover Teixeira, who's 41. 41, mate. Went on I think he fought for the title in 2015 or 2014. Ended up on a bit of a skid, like 1-3, and then in like the last 18 months, 2 years, just put this absolute run together, stopping people, choking them out. Basically got to a point where he's 41, but the UFC could not
say no to him anymore.
Couldn't say no, so they just said, right, there you go. But obviously for him, this is it. You know, second chance at the light heavyweight title. That's the only fight on the card I won't bet on, because anything can happen. So. Big pole champion, could knock him out. Glover Teixeira could win by sub. They could have an absolute war, but just enjoy that one.
What is your bet then?
My main bet's going to be Ankalaev by KO, TKO submission, which is evens, which, you know, I think you can pay for your night with that. But there'll be a couple on here. I mean, I wouldn't be confident going into Chimaev, as we said.
Again, you've said this loads of times, but how many times when you look at boxing you just think, yeah, he'll win, and they're all 1-16, 1-10s. You look at that now, you just think, from what you've said, a little preview of that, you're like, fucking hell.
Mate, you see the prelim card, I mentioned one fight on there, which obviously involves Lerone Murphy. There'll be some absolute wars on there that, like, you don't expect, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. But once the props start coming out in terms of the over, the unders, you know, a couple of things like that, there'll be more bets 100%, but as I say, if you're one of them people who like to bet all the favourites, this is not the card for it, because something's going to happen here, something's boiling. I mean, Peter Yan, who I do think is the best bantamweight in the world, but can never write Corey Sandhagen out. And then, as I said, with Makhachev, people say he's this, he's that. You know, he's got Khabib in the corner. People say he's Khabib with hands, but Dan Hooker get proved time and time again. People have beaten him, people have knocked him out, and then he'll pop back up and put performance of his career in. And he's not going to be intimidated, clearly. Just, mate, honest to God, Saturday night, just strap yourself in.
That's my Saturday, lad. I get home from Anfield, boom, BT Sport on.
I mean, I won't be moving, and as I say, I will not be watching the. I might have it on the background because I'm an absolute diehard, but the DAZN card gets absolutely outshone this weekend. Good
stuff. On off the sport a second, but obviously is far more important than sport, is we've got a little event on.
Yeah, we're going live. Me, you, and can we announce who's with?
Yeah.
Me, you, and Jose Baxter, who obviously his latest episode went down really well. But basically, we are supporting an event which is with my dad, who has obviously been a guest on the show, and a good friend of his, Andrew James, who do an event for Stamp Out Suicide, which is a charity that support people obviously on the brink of what they think is suicide, but they are there to help them. Amazing charity, do amazing things, and rely completely on donations and supporters. So my dad and Andrew have done this show for years now, pre-COVID. You know, them two sing, it's a big laugh, there's an auction, loads of ale. It's a really funny night. So they'll be back in the Hilton in Liverpool, and we'll just be there supporting. So
yeah,
we will open the night with Jose, and then they will take the night to another level.
Yeah, tickets are £10. It is Friday the 19th of November, so in the Hilton in Liverpool. So if you're Liverpool based, come down, support it. Gonna be a great night. Always is when you're half around. Good laugh.
With me half people love them on here. You know, Andrew James, who he sings with, is just incredibly talented. I mean, before COVID, these used to go down amazingly. I think we've got about 150 tickets in the Hilton in Liverpool, so we'll leave obviously the ticket link in the bio.
Yeah.
Every single penny will go to Stamp Out Suicide. There won't be a single penny taken from me, you, Jose, my dad, anyone. It'll just be purely for Stamp Out Suicide, and yeah, we'll have a right old booze up.
Come and get involved. So yeah, get involved in that. Don't forget 15% off Monterex. Don't forget BetMate. Download the app now and have a little play this weekend. And yeah, have a good one.